Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So today is January 30th in the Bible through a year, and we are reading Exodus chapter 10 verse 1 through 12:13, Matthew 20 verse 1 through 28, Psalm chapter 25 verse 1 through 15, and Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6 through 11. And while you are finding those, if you are reading along, just to let you know like what happened yesterday or whatever, there was a lot. Moses and Pharaoh are still going at it for no reason. Well, I mean, there's a reason, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to get the Israelites free, and the Pharaoh is just, like, not having it. Like, he just wants to keep them, but it's like, bro, like, they're not even your people. Like, they're literally God's people, so, like, who you think you are to keep them? Like, we're not sure, you know what I mean? Like, I get that you're scared they're gonna overtake your throne, and, like, that they're gonna overtake you, but like, they're God's people, so, like, let them go, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And also it says that he hardened their hearts, so, or he hardened the Pharaoh's heart. And actually, on that note, you know, we want to know something, because, like, sometimes I read some of this stuff, and I'm like, what is really going on out here in these streets? Like, what are they saying out in these streets? I'm fine, I promise. But, like, you know, like, I get so confused sometimes. But you want to know something? Like, I thought about this earlier today, like this morning when I was like, I think I was watching a sermon or something. Something made me think of it, and I don't know what. But I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, you want to know something? Like, there's like whole scholars and like all of these like super like actual smart people, and like they have been studying this Bible for like years. Like, it's 2020, like probably for like 2020 years they've been studying the Bible, you know what I mean? Like, smart people. And so if they don't know what's going on, or not that they don't know what's going on, but like it took all them people like all that time to like figure out what's going on, like all that crazy stuff. There's no way for me to know what's going on, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that like I'm supposed to know like everything that's happening. You know, you can pray for understanding, and you know, you can get stuff from the Bible and all that, but some things like I just don't understand. Like, I'm just gonna learn how to let that go, because there's just no way that I'm gonna know. You know what I mean? And that's why I think pastors are like so cool. I'm gonna shut up, I'm sorry, but like that's why I think pastors are like so cool, because like if you watch like a good pastor, like they can explain something. Like, they'll take something like this little thing like you didn't even notice, and they'll be like, guess what? Like, it was like all of this, and you're like, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? Like, how was it possible that it was all that? Like, that's literally impossible. And they're like, nope, no, that's what it means. And you're like, okay. Didn't even know it, bro. I read it and thought it was just a verse. Didn't even know that's what it meant. You know what I mean? But anyways, so Pharaoh and Moses were going at it, and Moses sent we've already got like 5 plagues. I think there's like, if I'm remembering correctly, I think there was like a lot of plagues. I think there's like 7, but also, well, we're on number 5. Since I apparently invented my own language in this video, I think it gets better when I start reading, but I'm just gonna put subtitles at the bottom. You know, I'm sorry that I think that I'm a person who should invent their own subtitles. Language, Lindsay, language, not subtitles. Learn how to speak. I apologize that that's where I am at in life, and you know, I'm sorry. So, yeah. 5, I guess. So we had the frogs, we had the boils, we had hail, we had gnats, and we had the livestock. He killed all the livestock, but he didn't kill the Israelites' livestock. And so there's that. And then also in Mathew yesterday, somebody came up to Jesus and they were like, how do I get into heaven? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be like, I do good things. Like, how do I get into heaven? And he was like, you got to follow the 10 commandments. And he just like listed off the 10 commandments. Like, don't lie, don't steal, like honor your mother and father. And the guy was like, okay, but I don't do any of that stuff. So like, what else can I do? And Jesus was like, okay, so then sell all your possessions and like come follow me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. And so the guy was like kind of hesitant about it. And then Jesus was like, just so like everybody knows, he was like, that's why I have said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich person to go through heaven or get to heaven. Because I'm assuming because like they don't, you know, that's where, I know they said like that's where your heart lies. Like, your heart lies where you're like, treasure is, right? Or something to that effect. There's a verse like that. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. But I don't know why, but that's just what he said. He was like, it's easier for a rich person, or it's easier to put a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to get to heaven. And so that's where we're at with those two. And then obviously we have Psalm and Proverbs. The Proverbs yesterday was about debt. And like, if you like put yourself up for a friend or whatever, like beg to have your name erased, because like you need to free yourself because you're at your friend's mercy and like you don't want to do that. Again, not really sure why, but that's what it said. So that's what we're going with. So I hope you found the Bible verses, and we are on Exodus chapter 10 verse 1 through 12:13. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Return to Pharaoh and make your demands again. I have made him and his officials stubborn, so I can display miraculous signs among them. I've also done it so you can tell your children and your grandchildren about how I made a mockery of the Egyptians and about the signs I displayed among them, and so you will know that I am the Lord." So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to submit to me? Let my people go so they can worship me. If you refuse, watch out, for tomorrow I will bring a swarm of locusts on your country. They will cover the land so that you won't be able to see the ground. They will devour what little is left of your crops after the hailstorm, including all the trees growing in the fields. They will overrun your palaces and the homes of your officials and all the houses in Egypt. Never in the history of Egypt have your ancestors seen a plague like this one." And with that, Moses turned and left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials now came to Pharaoh and appealed to him, "How long will you let this man hold us hostage? Let the men go to worship the Lord, their God. Don't you realize that Egypt lies in the ruins?" So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. "All right," he told them, "go and worship the Lord your God. But who exactly will be going with you?" Moses replied, "We will all go, young and old, our sons and daughters, and our flocks and herds. We must all join together in celebrating a festival to the Lord." Pharaoh retorted, "The Lord will certainly need to be with you if I let you take your little ones. I can see through your evil plan. Never. Only the men may go and worship the Lord, since that is what you've requested." And Pharaoh threw them out of the place. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Raise your hand over the land of Egypt to bring on the locusts. Let them cover the land and devour every plant that survived the hailstorm." So Moses raised his staff over Egypt, and the Lord caused an east wind to blow over the land all that day and through the night. When morning arrived, the east wind had brought the locusts, and the locusts swarmed over the whole land of Egypt, settling in dense swarms from one end of the country to the other. It was the worst locust plague in Egyptian history, and there has never been one like it. For the locusts covered the whole country and darkened the land. They devoured every plant in the fields and all the fruit on the trees that had survived the hailstorm. Not a single leaf was left on the trees and plants throughout the land of Egypt. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron. "I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you," he confessed. "Forgive my sin just this once, and plead with the Lord your God to take away this death from me." So Moses left Pharaoh's court and pleaded with the Lord. The Lord responded by shifting the wind, and the strong west wind blew the locusts into the Red Sea. Not a single locust remained in all the land of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart again, so he refused to let the people go. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Lift your hand toward heaven, and the land of Egypt will be covered with a darkness so thick you can feel it." So Moses lifted his hand to the sky, and a deep darkness covered the entire land of Egypt for 3 days. During all that time, the people could not see each other, and no one moved. But there was light as usual where the people of Israel lived. Finally, Pharaoh called for Moses. "Go and worship the Lord," he said, "but leave the flocks and herds here. You may even take your little ones with you." "No," Moses said, "you must provide us with animals for sacrifices and burnt offerings to the Lord our God. All our livestock must go with us too. Not a hoof can be left behind. We must choose our sacrifices for the Lord our God from among these animals, and we won't know how we are to worship the Lord until we get there." But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart once more, and he would not let them go. "Get out of here," Pharaoh shouted at Moses. "I'm warning you, never come back to see me again. The day you see my face, you will die." "Very well," Moses replied, "I will never see your face again." And the Lord said to Moses, "I will strike Pharaoh and the land of Egypt with one more blow. After that, Pharaoh will let you leave this country. In fact, he will be so eager to get rid of you that he will force you all to leave. Tell all the Israelite men and women to ask their Egyptian neighbors for articles of silver and gold. Now the Lord had caused the Egyptians to look favorably on the people of Israel, and Moses was considered a great man in the land of Egypt, respected by the Pharaoh's officials and the Egyptian people alike. Moses had announced to Pharaoh, "This is what the Lord says, at midnight tonight I will pass through the heart of Egypt. All the firstborn sons will die in every family in Egypt, from the oldest son of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the oldest son of his lowliest servant girl who grinds the flour. Even the firstborn of all the livestock will die. Then a loud wail will raise through the land of Egypt, a wail like no one has heard before or will ever hear again. But among the Israelites it will be so peaceful that not even a dog will bark. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between the Egyptians and the Israelites. All the officials of Egypt will run to me and fall to the ground before me. Please leave, they will beg. Hurry and take all your followers with you. Only then will I go." Then, burning like in anger, Moses left Pharaoh. Now the Lord had told Moses earlier, "Pharaoh will not listen to you, but then I will do even more mighty miracles in the land of Egypt." Moses and Aaron performed these miracles in Pharaoh's presence, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart and he wouldn't let the Israelites leave the country. While the Israelites were still in the land of Egypt, the Lord gave the following instructions to Moses and Aaron. "From now on, this month will be the first month of the year for you. Announce the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice. One animal for each household. If a family is too small to eat a whole meal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. The animal you select must be a 1-year-old male, either a sheep or a goat with no defects. Take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of the first month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter their lamb or young goat at twilight. That same night, they are to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the house where they eat the animals. That same night, they must roast the meat over a fire and eat it along with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. Do not eat any of the raw meat or boiled in water. The whole animal, including the head, legs, and internal organs, must be roasted over a fire. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. Burn whatever is not eaten before morning. These are your instructions for eating this meal. Be fully dressed, wear your sandals, carry your walking stick in your hand. Eat the meal with urgency, for this is the Lord's Passover. On that night I will pass through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn son and every firstborn male animal in the land of Egypt. I will execute judgment against all the gods of Egypt, for I am the Lord. But the blood on your doorposts will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you are staying. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt." I think I saw a movie one time. Listen, what I was trying to say though was that I saw a movie and I think that was the Pharaoh's only son. Like, I think he only had that one son. And so I think that kind of just like makes everything that much more shocking. And also, it's not just that the Lord, oh my gosh, my battery's dying. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay. I'm going to try to get through Mathew, but I'm not sure if it's going to die or not. "For the kingdom of heaven is like the landowner who went out early one morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay the normal daily wage and sent them out to work. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was passing through the marketplace and saw some people standing around doing nothing. So he hired them, telling them he would pay for whatever was right at the end of the day. So they went to work in the vineyard. At noon and again at 3 o'clock, he did the same thing. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, he was in town again and saw some more people standing around. He asked them, 'Why have you been working today?' They replied, 'Because no one hired us.' The landowner told them, 'Then go out and join the others in my vineyard.' That evening, he told the foreman to call the workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. Each who's hired at 5 o'clock were paid. Each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their pay, they assumed they would receive more, but they too were paid a day's wage. When they received their pay, they protested it to the owner. Those people worked only 1 hour, and yet you paid them just as much as you paid us who worked all day in the scorching heat." He answered one of them, "Friend, I haven't been unfair. Didn't you agree to work all day for the usual wage? Take your money and go. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. Is it against the law for me to do what I want with my own money? Should you be jealous because I am kind to others? So those who are last now will be first then, and those who are first will be last." As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside privately and told them what was going to happen. "Listen," he said, "we're going up to Jerusalem where the Son of Man will be betrayed to the leading priests and teachers of religious law. They will sentence him to die. Then they will hand him over to the Romans to be mocked, flogged with a whip, and crucified. But on the third day he will be raised from the dead." The mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus with her sons. She knelt respectfully to ask a favor. "What is your request?" he asked. She replied, "In your kingdom, please let my 2 sons sit in places of honor next to you, one on your right and the other on your left." But Jesus answered by saying to them, "You don't know what you are asking. Are you able to drink from the bitter cup of suffering I am about to drink?" "Oh yes," they replied, "we are able." Jesus told them, "You will indeed drink from my bitter cup, but I have no right to say who will sit on my right or my left. My Father has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen." Sorry y'all, my battery died. It's just a lot. So I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. But Jesus told them, "You will indeed drink from my bitter cup, but I have no right to say who will sit on my right or my left. My Father has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen." When the 10 other disciples heard what James and John had asked, they were indignant. But Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers of this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give his life as a ransom for many." And now we're on Psalm. "O Lord, I give my life to you. I trust in you, my God. Do not let me be disgraced, or let my enemies rejoice in my defeat. No one who trusts you will ever be disgraced, but disgrace comes to those who try to deceive others. Show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow. Lead me by your truth and teach me, for you are the God who saves me. All day long I put my hope in you. Remember, O Lord, your compassionate and unfailing love, which you have shown from long ages past. Do not remember the rebellious sins of my youth. Remember me in the light of your unfailing love, for you are merciful, O Lord. The Lord is good and does what is right. He shows the proper path to those who go astray. He leads the humble in doing right, teaching them his way. The Lord leads with unfailing love and faithfulness all who kept his covenant and obey his demands. For the honor of your name, O Lord, forgive my many, many sins. Who are those who fear the Lord? He will show them the path they should choose. They will live in prosperity, and their children will inherit the land. The Lord is a friend to those who fear him. He teaches them his covenant. My eyes are always on the Lord, for he rescues me from the traps of my enemies." And now we're on Proverbs. "Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though you have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for your winter. But you, lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. A scarcity will attack you like an armed robber." Y'all, I'm done. You are not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I'm going to tell it to you anyways. First of all, did he say lazy bones? I'm calling people lazy bones all 2020. But listen, oh my gosh, I'm literally, for the past 2 weeks, I will just get so tired out of nowhere. I will be so freaking tired, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll take an hour nap, and then I'll sleep for 4 hours, and it's so frustrating because I will only sleep for 4 hours, and then I'll wake up and I'll be awake, and then I'll sleep for another 4 hours later in the day, and it's this never-ending cycle. And there's a point to this, I promise. I'm not just telling you about my sleep schedule. So tonight I was I'm not gonna go to sleep. I was so tired, but I'm not gonna go to sleep because I know I will not wake up. I won't do it. I know that I will not wake up. And I went to sleep anyways. But my point is it's so crazy how sometimes these just line up with exactly what's going on in my life. I am lazy bones, and you want to know something? I'm really upset about it, and I gotta figure that out. I gotta work on it. Because I am just tired. And it's not just that I'm tired, but it's also hard to have motivation, like when you're sober and like whenever you're not drinking anything, like you're not drinking any sugar, you're not drinking any caffeine, like there's no coffee being had, there's no sugar being drank. I even tried to drink a Sprite earlier and I still went to sleep. Like I was tired, but like that's my level of like where I'll take it. Like I might drink like half a Sprite and like that's it. And it's very hard, especially when you've like, I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel, but like I have had like supplemental energy for for a very long time. But you know what? I think maybe I just need to get over it and realize that this is just a state of my being now. This is just what it's like to not have supplemental energy. I just need to stop being tired. I'm just gonna have to learn how to power through it, like, you know what I mean? Or pray that God helps me power through it, really, because I can't, you know what I mean? Obviously I can't do it, so you know, we just need to pray some more out here in these streets. But I'm gonna stop saying out here in these streets. I'm also going to go ahead and right now and apologize for my hair because it's really struggling. I got new dry shampoo and it's not coming through for your girl. But I am gonna end this because I feel like I have nothing else to say, and I've apologized for all that I really can't apologize for in one video. You know what I mean? So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you have a good day. Today is Saturday. Technically it's Friday, but like, actually technically it's Saturday. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I hope you have a good day tomorrow. I hope you have a good Saturday. I hope you wake up bright and early and do your laundry or, you know, whatever. Do your taxes. I hope you got your W-2s. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you did whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you needed to do for the day, you know? And with that being said, I'm going to end this now. I love you. Jesus loves you. Bye.